Good morning, guys. Well, it is Monday morning, and I am entering into actually, it'll be week 2 of no metformin, week 3 of my experiment. The first week was get a baseline number of 7 days of being on 500 milligrams of metformin. My doctor recommended, let's try something. 3 weeks of no metformin, measuring your baseline for the end of the week. And at the end of 3 weeks, if your points have not reached more than 20, then stay off metformin. And if they've gone over, then you're going to go back on metformin. Well, hey, that's an achievement in a sense to me anyway, because I was on so many medicines and my sugars were so bad and they're getting so much better. And this is the last medicine I'm on. So I'm excited to try it. Even if I fail, I go back on metformin. Hey, it's okay, But we're giving it a try with the doctor's approval. Oh, there goes my clock. The very first week, which I was on metformin 500, at the end of the week, I averaged 159 for my sugars, which I know sounds high, and it is high. There were some 120s in there, and there's some 170s in there. My body fluctuates quite a bit. I am learning along the process here, too, that my morning sugar, when I first wake up, is different than like an hour later, and that's with no foods or anything. My hour later is definitely lower. So I've been trying to be somewhat fair and get it about 20 minutes after I wake up instead of waiting 2 hours or doing it 5 seconds after I wake up. But I'm trying to keep that consistent for him so my baseline numbers are accurate. At the end of week 1, which I just completed on Sunday, my baseline number was 169. So I went from 159 to 169. But that was a week with no metformin. So we went up 10 points. He's saying if I could stay under 20, then I can stay off metformin. We will see what this week brings for us. So now, today for breakfast, I had a little bit of a strange breakfast. I tend to eat whatever, whenever. A lot of times I'll eat breakfast for dinner, or I'll eat chicken or fathead pizza for breakfast. It just, whatever my body seems to want that day. So today I ended up having 5 ounces of chicken thighs with the skin and with the special rub that I make, which you can see in the video that I'll link above. Super simple, just some spices I put together, and I put that on the chicken. Well, I strip that off the bone. I weigh it every time I eat something. I weigh it and I carb manager it. I also had 3 ounces of cut green beans and some Kerrygold butter on it, and that was my breakfast today. I wait till 10:30 because I do a 16/8 intermittent fasting day. So my last meal will be by 6:30 tonight. And that works out well for me. I have simplified my keto plan lately. If you've watched any of our videos recently, you'll know that I've been a little bit frustrated, a little struggle. I think what happened was I drifted a little bit on my labels. I didn't so much not follow the keto plans, but I was getting a little less strict on what I was having. So I'm simplifying things down to my core basics, like what I used to do in the beginning. If it has anything questionable in it, I'm putting it aside for a week or two. I'm going to see if this makes a difference in my reaction of my body. Another thing that I've done is I've used many of the macro calculators out there. And as you know, if you've done the same, they're all different. They all give you different recommendations. They all have different levels of fats and proteins and whatnot. One that Keto Deb had recommended to me that I poked into, I think it was Diet Buddy or something like that, macro adjuster. If I find the link, I'll put it in the description below for you. But when I ran that one, interestingly, it really reduced my proteins, which is something that I've been kind of questioning lately, is am I maybe taking in too much protein at a daily, on my macros, and it upped my fats. So I said, let's just confuse this body a little bit. Let's try this for 2 weeks. So I've readjusted macros a little. It lowered my calories a little bit. I think I'm at 1990. I'll throw up a screen real quick of the new Carb Manager macros that I've just input on Saturday. I just started this. And I'm drinking basic water. I'm drinking basic black coffee. I use monk fruit drops in there for some sweetener. I have tested pre and post, like an hour later, with the coffee with the monk fruits. I've had no reactions to the monk fruits. So hopefully that's not going to mess me up at all. But anything with the sucralose or the dextrose or anything like that, I've been just, if I look at a label and see it, I'm tossing it at this point. I'm going to go just simple, strict, basic. My eggs, my bacon, my vegetables. I love broccoli. I love the Kerrygold and stuff. Um, so I'm trying that, back to real core, basic, simple stuff, and then readjusting those macros to see where that puts me. And this whole metformin experiment, even if I do creep up and he wants me to go back on, I won't be too upset with myself. I won't be hard on myself. I see it as a huge victory as to where I was, gosh, for 10 years now. I've been on all those medicines, and 2,000 metformin is what I was on, and 140 units a day of insulin that I'm no longer on, 100 milligrams of Januvia that I'm no longer on, and then 8 milligrams of Amaryl that I'm no longer on, and 3,600 units of gabapentin that I'm no longer on. All that stuff's gone. And my sugars at that point, when I was seeing an endocrinologist, when I was seeing a nutritionist that was telling me eat 70 carbs, 5 times a day type of crap, my sugars then were 300-400s. Now I'm getting, 120s to 160s and stuff. Hey, I see this as a victory. So even if this doesn't work out, I'm doing this, I'm documenting this for myself, but also for anybody else who's just curious, that's diabetic and is maybe, getting 6 to 8 to 10 months into this like I am, and, maybe wanting some inspiration or just, just to follow out of curiosity. I would certainly be watching it as a diabetic saying, maybe I should try that, So that's where I'm at. And I hope that anybody out there who is diabetic is considering trying some of this stuff. It's worked wonderfully for me. I mean, everybody does keto for different reasons and has different goals in it too. So not really sure if this speaks to others out there that are in the situation I'm in, being diabetic or hopefully former diabetic. My gosh, I can't even tell you how amazing it would be to make a video and say, hey, guess what, guys? I am no longer diabetic. I am no longer on medicines. My sugars are, 105 or something, That's the day I'm looking forward to. Of course, I would love more weight loss, and I'm hoping that comes with time and just tinkering with things and trying to confuse my body and make it happen. So thank you for checking in with me. My baseline number is up a little. It's about 10 points up this week of being on no metformin for the last week. I'm entering into week number 2 of monitoring my sugar every morning. And I will, of course, report back on Monday as to where I fall with that. And let's pray and cross fingers that hopefully it still stays, in that range or not too much higher. And, like I said, I'm reporting to the doctor. We have a portal message system, which is like an e-message. I can zap them a quick message, and I've already sent them a message on this already. Said, hey, I'm entering into week 2 of no metformin. My base number went up 10 points. I'm continuing. Obviously, if it went up like 35 or something, I would write and probably get a phone call back and say, go back on your metformin. So we're going to see where this puts me. Stress, sleep, all that stuff factors into it. Even exercise and drinking water. I'm drinking water. I'm exercising more. Oh, downstairs, we've been here for 4 years. I rebuilt and remodeled the basement. Long story short, I had a PS3 sitting in the corner for the longest time. It hasn't even been hooked up. I decided to hook it up on the TV where I ride the bike, where I did last week's video. And I was sitting there messing with it, and there's games on there I haven't played in probably 5 years, Oh my gosh, I had such a blast. Yesterday, I was on the bike for almost 2 hours, just pedaling and playing a silly game. So you know what? That works for me. You just got to find what works for you. Maybe you like to listen to audiobooks and you go for a walk. Well, maybe you can listen to 3 chapters of an audiobook and walk for 45 minutes. Whatever works for you. For me, I love the e-bikes. I'm having a blast riding the e-bike. I have fun on the exercise bike downstairs, the stationary bike. But now that I'm doing it with the PS3, oh my gosh, it's a whole new thing. So, just got to mix it up. You got to keep having, little epiphany moments and find something that works for you, and, just stick with it. And I have stayed faithful to keto. I think I just drifted a little off on some of the labels. I would look at something and say, oh, that's sugar-free and it's okay. And then as you get farther down the ingredient list, you might see something that's a little questionable and you're like, oh, shoot. And you realize that, and I think a combination of two or three of those kind of things, being diabetic, being somewhat sensitive, and whatnot with the body and the reactions, maybe that's what's causing things. So I'm stripping it all out. I'm going to see what this week brings. Heck, I'd love to see the baseline number for the end of this week be lower. I'm interested in that. And like I said, I'm doing super, super simple stuff this week. So check back with me next week. We'll see where we end up. And hope you all stay keto and have a great week. Bye.